Hi, good evening, folks. Mr. Woon here, Mr. Woon, the traffic warden. Uh, in today's video, I would like to address and educate cyclists on why it is still safer to dismount and push your bicycle at pedestrian crossing. But you have to see the situation lah. So you have to look at the situation and then assess for yourself whether there's a need to dismount and push your bicycle safely across for your own safety and as well as for the safety and due consideration of other road users. Now, in case you netizens do not know, in a little over 2 years, LTA's ruling is such that now cyclists do not have to dismount and push their bicycle across pedestrian crossing or zebra crossing. But according to the highway code, in the past, according to the highway code, cyclists have to actually dismount and push their bicycles at traffic junctions, pedestrian crossing, zebra crossing, pedestrian overhead bridge, and underpass. The only time when they don't have to dismount and push their bicycle at a crossing, they can cycle across at the crossing is only at the bicycle crossing. You know how some junctions have a bicycle crossing adjacent to a pedestrian crossing? So for the bicycle crossing, right, the cyclists do not have to dismount and push. All they need to do is wait for the traffic signal to flash the green bicycle signal. So when the green bicycle signal is flashing and it's on, then the cyclist can cross the junction without having to dismount. They can just ride across. But the catch is they need to actually maintain to the left side, keep to the left and go across. Alright, so pedestrian crossing, adjacent to it there is a bicycle crossing and the cyclist can go across. Okay, so that used to be the case, but now it's such that LTA's guideline is such that cyclists now do not have to actually dismount and push their bicycle across. They just need only to stop, look and go. So when you say stop, look and go, basically it's to stop, check clear first, check clear whether there's oncoming traffic, and if it's safe to cross, then you cross without having to dismount and push your bicycle. Now, but such a situation is only when there is clearly no oncoming traffic and there's nobody at the crossing, when it's close is clear. So from far you can see you have a long runway, there's no oncoming traffic, even though you check clear, there are blind spots, there are blind corners, there's a bend, vehicles should be coming from a slip road, coming from far, right, and then exit a slip road, that sort of thing, and you're at the zebra crossing and you're on a bicycle, right, and you can clearly see from far, there's kind of situation, no vehicle, nobody crossing, you have a long runway, even got vehicle, maybe one or two, and it's far away, you have ample runway and time to get across, right, and there's nobody at the zebra crossing in your direction, that sort of thing, maybe one or two, very few. And if there's nobody, then of course you don't have to dismount and push. You, to your discretion, you just cycle across. But you check clear first lah. Make sure you do your clearance check clear. There is no there is no oncoming traffic and there's nobody walking in your direction. Then you don't have to dismount and push. You can cycle across. But let's be practical here. Let's be practical. A lot of times when you are at a junction, a lot of things can happen. When you're at a traffic junction, a pedestrian crossing or zebra crossing, a lot of things can happen because junction is where everyone come together. You can have drivers who do discretionary turn, drivers who run the red light. You can have a lot of things happening. Drivers that do not stop at zebra crossing, they go very fast. And people never check clear, they assume that driver will stop for them and they just cross. So a lot of things can happen, a lot of accident can happen there. So imagine this, I want you to imagine this. You are a cyclist and you see a situation where there's a lot of heavy traffic on the road. There's vehicles approaching fast and there's a lot of people crossing at the zebra crossing. There's old people, there's young kids, they're running around. And then there are people crossing in your direction towards you, and there are people crossing in the same direction with their backs facing you because they're in front of you. They cannot see you from because you're behind them, that sort of thing, right? And then what happens is that if you don't dismount and push, it becomes dangerous because if you sense there's a vehicle coming, and you think that I don't want to dismount and push because I don't want to break my stride, I don't want to break my momentum. I'm so comfortably saddled up already. I'm a bit lazy, you know, very comfortable, very complacent. Why do I need to dismount and push my bike? I break my stride, break my momentum for what? Such a short distance, short runway. He's coming from far. I can go faster and I can just go without having to stop. And I can just go. I can guarantee you, I can reach across on time without him approaching near me at all. So I will go faster. So when you go faster, do you know what's going to happen? The worst case scenario, you can knock someone down. You can knock an elderly person, you can knock kids, because kids will be running around. Let's say it's a very busy junction, there's people crossing in your direction, and people with their backs facing you, in front of you, they are going. And just because you want to beat the oncoming traffic coming fast, you don't want to stop, you don't want to stop and dismount your bike, right? You just decide, okay, I'm going to just go. I don't even want to stop, look and go, I just look and go. Okay, I'll just look and go only, and then I just go. But in order to siam the vehicle that's fast approaching me from far, it's coming fast, exiting the slip road and a zebra crossing there, I want to quickly siam this fella, the driver coming, right? I'm going to go faster. Now if I go faster, what's going to happen? I can knock someone down. Because if it's a junction, there's a lot of people crossing, I may not be able to see what's up ahead. The person or people in front of me is causing my blind spot. There may be people in front of them that's coming in my direction. So in order to go fast, I have to look at both ways. I have to look at the slip road, the vehicle coming this way, and then I need to go faster. Then in the midst of doing that, I may actually knock one or few pedestrians who are in front where I cannot see them, because there are so many people. And then what happens is this: if I knock them down, I cause an accident and they die due to my negligent act. I can actually face a jail term of 2 years and a fine for killing someone, causing an accident, an act of negligence because of my rash act of cycling fast and knocking someone down. And it's usually the case when you knock someone down, what happens? Just like vehicle knock you down, you're a pedestrian, they go past, they don't care, right? They don't stop, right? They knock you down, you are going to be thrown back. Then your head is going to hit the ground first. So same thing as a cyclist, when you knock someone down, the impact, you're going fast, the impact where you knock the person is a frail elderly person or a young kid, or maybe a young adult, right? They're going to fall back and the head is going to hit the ground first, and then they're going to sustain serious head injury. And of course, this kind of thing is not immediate, but usually in a few days time, then we will see what happened. Usually it's a few days time, then they will pass away from serious head injury, and that's when you will be charged lah. Or it's a serious thing. That's why I would say is if you see the situation, if it's heavy traffic, if it's a lot of crowd movement, it is still safer to dismount and push your bicycle. Now, what I would say is when you dismount and push your bicycle, it is safer for you. 3 things. Number 1, when you dismount your bike, right, you're actually very stable. Because I want you to think about it this way: when you dismount from your bicycle, right, your feet is on the ground. You are rooted to ground. You are stable, and you're holding on to your bike. You are very stable, so you are in control of yourself and your bike. You may not be in control of the environment around you, the world around you, the drivers who don't stop, the people who are in front of you who are not looking at where they're walking. You are not in control of that, but you're at least in control of your situation, yourself and your bicycle, because you are dismounting and push. You are stable. You're on the ground. You're rooted on the ground, and you can control at least that part. You will not knock anyone down and kill anyone. So that part you are safe by dismounting and pushing. Then by dismounting and pushing also, right, not only will you be stable, you will not knock anyone down. Okay, you will be stable. One, you will not knock anyone down and cause death due to negligent act. Okay, that's point number 2. Point number 3 is you can actually put the bicycle in between you and the oncoming traffic as a safety buffer. So when I cross, let's say I dismount and push, I will be 2 hands on my handlebar or on my bike, and I place the bicycle between me and the vehicle, so that I stop first. I make sure they come to a stop, and when I see that they stop for me already, right, then I acknowledge by giving a nod, thank you, like a high five, thank you, like that, a nod of approval to say yes, thank you so much for stopping. Then I go, right, then I will place the bicycle between me and the vehicle as a safety buffer, and go across. It's safer that way. In case they don't stop, or in case they decide to go, right, or maybe you cross the first vehicle, but the other lane, blind spot. The driver didn't see because on lane 2 sorry, on what lane 2? On the exit in the slip road, there are two vehicles. Maybe the first vehicle on the leftmost is blocking the one that's on the right. So on the right one, he's most likely going to see the traffic on the other side of the carriageway. He's not going to look at you. You are completely obstructed by the vehicle on the left. So as you dismount and push, right, if the vehicle didn't see you, he decide to go, right, at least your bicycle is the safety buffer between you and the vehicle. At the very most, you need to react fast on time, right? You just push away your bicycle and you run away to safety. Then at least the car, when he run over, he won't run over you. Momentarily your bicycle is being the buffer, breaking the, how to say, like being the safety buffer, protecting you between you and the oncoming vehicle, protecting you, keeping you safe. So if the vehicle come, they decide to go, they will go over your bicycle first, but you will make it to safety by being alert, and actually by staying focused and laser sharp focus and alert, looking at vehicle as you dismount and push. That's what I mean. But it is safer to actually dismount and push. You have to see the situation. If you see a lot of vehicle, a lot of people, then obviously you might want to consider dismounting and pushing a bike. I would highly recommend for your safety. If it's a lot of people, a lot of vehicle, then you dismount and push. It's safer that way. But if you see from far, there's no vehicle at all, there's nobody at the crossing, then you're very sure you really check clear already, alright, then you go. Up to you. Because LTA ruling is now you don't have to dismount and push, it's stop, look and go. But again, I would say for safety purpose, for safety reason, if you see the situation, if it's a lot of vehicle, a lot of people, then it will be better for you to dismount and push your bicycle. Now there are two things I want to talk about when it comes to cyclists. And this is not a cyclist problem, it's a human being problem. Everyone's quick to blame cyclists. I was a cyclist before, an avid cyclist. I used to cycle long distances on my racer and on my fat bike, and I used to go on my long cyclist journeys to the west, doing my cycling, to keep myself fit and to keep my weight in check back in the early days. And but I stopped doing all that already. But I also understand why people like to hate on cyclists, but it's not a cyclist problem. Let me tell you, it's a human being problem. If you remove bicycle, you remove the vehicle on the road, the cars, the bikes, you remove the van, the buses, the lorry, the truck, you remove all the micro mobility devices, the PMA, PMD, PAB, who is the one propelling? Is the human being. It is the human being. So it's a human being problem. It's a human being behavioral issue and not a cyclist issue. So don't jump the gun and hate on cyclists, because if you do that, let me assure you one thing. If you were to take a bicycle right now and cycle, you see cyclists are pests on the road. But let me assure you one thing. If you were to take a bicycle right now and cycle, I can guarantee you do the same exact thing they will do. Because why? It's a human being problem. And that's what I want to talk about. The moment when you saddle up, two things psychological determinant, number one. Number two is physics. I'm going to expound on this more. Number one, psychological determinant. What I mean by that, when you are saddled up on a bicycle, you are too comfortable already. You are too comfortable. You don't want to dismount and push. You are too complacent, you are too comfortable, you are a bit lazy. Because why? I don't want to stop and dismount. I'm already on my bike and I can go already. What for? I can see the vehicle from far, I can go first. I can make it on time. Why do I have to break my stride? Why do I have to break my momentum? This is a human behavioral issue. It's not a cyclist issue. Anyone who ride a bicycle will do the same thing. Even if you are a driver, you hate cyclists, you drive, you go and ride a bicycle, you do the same thing. Pedestrian, you all also complain cyclists got a lot of problem, right? You take the bicycle, you cycle, you see whether you got stop, look and go, and when you come to a crossing, you won't, you will also just go on. Because why? It's a human behavioral issue. The moment you settle up, you're too comfortable. You don't want to break your stride, you don't want to break your momentum. You just keep going. You will not stop, look and go. You will just look and go. And I'll talk about the second point. Physics. Good old fashioned GCE O-level physics. Now, when you ride a bicycle, some of you like to adjust the seat height very high. What does that mean? Because why? A lot of racers, you all like to set the seat higher, such that when you put your leg down, your feet cannot even touch the ground. Your leg is extended and your feet cannot even touch the ground. It's very dangerous. You are not stable. The higher you sit, the more unstable you are. The fact you're on a bicycle, you're off-rooted. You're not rooted on the ground. You don't have stability. You're not rooted. You're off-rooted. You're uplifted. You're uprooted because you're on a bike. You're seated up. You're not stable or you're wobbly. To keep your balance, to keep your equilibrium, to keep your stability means to keep going, to keep pedaling, to keep cycling forth. That's why you are stable, because you keep on cycling, because you keep on going, the momentum, you don't stop. That's why you're stable, you're in equilibrium, and you're well balanced, despite being wobbly and off-rooted and uprooted by sitting on a bicycle. Do you see where I'm coming from? Physics. That's why it is a common problem. One, when you're on a bicycle, you're uprooted. The only thing you can do is to keep on going straight, don't stop. Because when you're on a bike, very wobbly, and you're unstable, the only way to be stable, to keep your stability is to keep on moving forward. Keep your balance, keep your equilibrium, is keep on cycling. That is the thing that's going to get you killed, because you don't stop and dismount and push. And you don't even stop to look and go. You just look and you go. This is why the number one factor why most cyclists get into problem, because they are doing this. And then number two thing I want to talk about is basically just to recap, the psychological predeterminant, which I said already. Is when once you settle up, psychological thing, you're too comfortable, you're too complacent, you are too lazy to want to dismount and push your bicycle. Because why? I don't want to break my stride, I don't want to break my momentum. Why for I have to stop and wait for this person, this bottleneck, this road hogger so slow like tortoise, and then why I have to stop? Why must I do that? So psychological determinant number one already make you feel you don't need to stop. You just go only. And the second factor, because physics, you are on a bicycle, you are off-rooted from the ground. You are sitting on a bike. Your center of gravity is raised higher. You're uprooted. You don't have stability. You're wobbly. The only thing that can make you stable, so to speak, stable, is to keep on cycling forward, to keep on going, to keep your momentum going, to maintain equilibrium, balance, and stability. That's why these two things is the reason why cyclists will never stop. And again, it's not a cyclist issue. It's not a cyclist problem. It's a human behavior. It's a human behavioral problem. Anyone who adopts the bicycle and sit on a bicycle is going to make the same issue. That's why I say, you all like to jump the gun and scold cyclists, very anti-cyclists, right? You all every time say road pass lah. You all every time do this, do that. You all don't bother to dismount and push, so much problem. But the moment you ride a bicycle, you are going to make the same mistakes that they all do, because it's a human behavioral issue. It's a human problem. That's the root cause. It's a human problem. It's not a cyclist problem. Driver, if you were to switch your position from driving to cycling, you do the same thing. Pedestrian also, you do the same thing. So it's a human being problem. Now the reason why LTA ruling changed, originally in the highway code, you all have to dismount and push your bicycle at crossings, right? Pedestrian crossing, zebra crossing, traffic junction, overhead bridge, pedestrian overhead bridge, and tunnels, underpass, you have to dismount and push. The only place you don't have to push is at the bicycle crossing, when the green bicycle signal is on and you keep to the left. Okay, but now LTA changed this ruling because there's been a lot of feedback, a lot of hassle and inconvenience. Because why? This feedback, I believe, come from all the heartlander areas, all the people who stay in HDB or heartlander areas that use the bicycle as a mode of transport to get from point A to point B. Like for example, mothers conveying their kids to school, so they have their kids riding on the bicycle with them, that sort of thing. So to every time dismount and push, Singapore every time got a lot of junction, right? Just to reach a junction, I need to dismount and push. It's very troublesome, right? Very hassle, a lot of problem for me. Someone pregnant, a lady, you want me to every time dismount and push. My back pain how? So a lot of feedback to them. I believe it's like that lah. And also because Heartlander area, a lot of uncle auntie, they go to the market early in the morning, they buy all the vegetable, they stock up grocery. Then their bicycle very cute one. In front got one basket, they dump all the grocery in front. And then it's so heavy, the front, the basket there, they load all the grocery things on the basket mounted in front of the bicycle. Such that when they cycle, very unstable, very wobbly, because too much weight in the front already. They cannot even balance properly, It's so dangerous. And they in fact, it's safer for them to dismount and push, but they don't want. They choose to want to, go ahead. So this is the big problem. When you're unstable, you're wobbly, you don't have rooting to the ground, you're not stable, it becomes very dangerous for you, even as you cycle across. Whereas when you dismount and push, you are safer, you are rooted to the ground, you're stable. you are stable, you are rooted to ground, you can position the bike between you and the oncoming traffic. Alright. If they stop, then you cross, right. Then you put the bicycle between you and the oncoming the vehicle as a safety buffer. Then when you dismount and push your bicycle, right, it's safer. Even though at the crossing a lot of people, right, there's very little chance or tendency, because you dismount and push your bicycle, you will not get into an accident, you will not knock somebody down. Versus there's a lot of people at the crossing and you're going fast, and then you cycle and there's a lot of people crossing to and fro, and then vehicle coming and you don't care, you just go. High chance you're going to knock someone down. And you know how the law works here? The law works in such a way that anyone propelling a motorized vehicle, a larger motorized vehicle, is always capable of causing harm. So the law would always never be in favor of them. Like for example, driver to pedestrian or jaywalker. A lot of people blame jaywalking. Every time jaywalk, now I knock the jaywalker down. He's jaywalking, I never see what, but I'm at fault. Because why? You are the one who's propelling a larger motorized vehicle capable of causing grievous bodily hurt and more harm than what that jaywalker can do to you. And it's always life over vehicle. That is why the law doesn't protect you in that sense. It's always in favor of them, the so-called the jaywalkers. Same thing when it comes to bicycle. If you don't dismount and push your bicycle when there's a lot of people, and obviously it's not safe, you need to dismount and push for your own safety and for the safety and due consideration of other road users as well. But you don't push, and you go across, you hit someone, like an old lady or a small kid that's crossing at the same crossing as you. You are also like the driver. You are propelling a vehicle, and by the way, a bicycle is a vehicle. It's a self-propelled, human-powered, single-track vehicle that takes you from point A to point B. It is considered a vehicle, and you are on a motorway sharing the same space with motorized vehicle on a motorway. So you are actually propelling a vehicle. But do you know that actually at the junction, zebra crossing is only meant for pedestrians? So by right, actually you all must dismount and push. It is actually meant for pedestrian. So actually your status becomes that of a pedestrian. You have to dismount and push your bicycle by right. Even though LTA says now no need, right? But if you have to see the situation, a lot of people, a lot of vehicle, you have to dismount and push for the safety of other road users. Now I'm going back to the point. Same thing, if you don't dismount and push, you ride across and you knock someone down, an elderly frail person, of course you will be charged. Negligent act cause the death of someone by knocking someone down. Same thing as how the law will punish the driver that knocked down a jaywalker, right? Also you will be dealt with the same way because you knocked someone down in the crossing. So you will face 2 years jail term and a fine because of negligent act causing death by knocking someone down. This is why it's very serious. That's why I say already, even though LTA ruling says that now you don't have to dismount and push your bicycle, I guess you still have to use your common sense logic and see, assess the situation. Use your to your discretion. You see you use your judgment and wisdom to see for yourself. If it's a lot of vehicle, heavy traffic, and junctions, a lot of things can happen all at one time, and a lot of people are crossing. I think, and some are crossing in your direction. Kids running around, elderly frail people walking about, that sort of situation, and then people in front of you with their back facing you, going the same direction as you. They don't have eyes to see from behind, that you are on the bike going with them, So it's a high chance that you might actually knock someone down and hurt someone, if not kill them, especially if you're going fast. That's why I would strongly suggest that to dismount and push is still safer. It's still safer. Obviously, your choice is yours. You do what you want. But obviously, if you kill someone due to negligent act, you will face the 2-year jail term and a fine. That's all I can say. So, that's all I want to say. In ending, I hope that the message is clear to cyclists. This is really to educate you guys. It's more for those who, I think, physically able-bodied. Let's put it this way. There are two kinds of cyclists. The one that I think feedback to, the one that LTA, says that citizens complain, a lot of hassle here and there. I think those are more like elderly people, and then like mothers or parents conveying their kids to school on bicycle. That sort of situation where they are already in their prime or old age. Old age, and they are, they have bad knees, bad back, a lot of pain here and there. It's very difficult for them to dismount. So if they don't dismount and push, that's fine lah. To their discretion lah. They have to use their judgment and see. But I would say I would strongly urge that if you are a young person in your prime, young adult, or maybe you are fit, physically you're able-bodied, mentally able-bodied, emotionally, spiritually able-bodied, physically able-bodied, and you're young and fit, I would strongly suggest, if it's peak period, heavy traffic, and a lot of people at the crossing, it's better for you to dismount and push your bicycle for safety, your safety, for the Duke's safety, and consideration of other road users as well. Really, because onus is on you already. If anything happen, you knock someone down and you kill someone, you're going to go punish 2-year jail term and fine for negligent act causing death. Okay, so that's all I want to say. In ending, yeah, that's pretty much what I want to say lah. And again, just to recap, it's not a cyclist issue. Okay, don't say it's a cyclist issue. It is a human being behavioral problem. Anyone is capable of making the same mistake. Because once you're settled up, you're too comfortable. You don't want to break your stride. You don't want to break your momentum. You just want to go only. And physics plays a huge part because you're uprooted. You're off leaf. You're uprooted. You don't have stability. You're wobbly. The only thing that can keep you stable, in equilibrium and balance, is to keep going forward. So it's a behavioral problem and a physics determinant, a factor that causes cyclists to want to keep going without stopping. It's very common. Okay, because in physics you learn when you are on a bicycle, you settle up. Basically, you're off the ground. You are off-rooted. You don't have stability. Everything's very narrow. The bike is one streamlined device like that, vehicle like that, and you are on the bike trying to balance. You're actually very unstable. You're off-rooted. So the only way to keep your stability is to keep going forward, to find your equilibrium balance and to keep going forward. Otherwise, you tilt to one side, you put your leg down, right, and form a triangular base of support where the combined CG, combined center of gravity of your center of gravity and the bicycle's center of gravity are fall within the base of support, then you're stable. But how many will do that? Very few. Because why? Again, same thing. I don't want to break my stride. I don't want to break my momentum. I'm already on a bike. I'm comfortable. I just go. As soon as I see got no car or far away, I think I got enough runway and time, I will go. I will chong on. So cyclists, it's not a cyclist mentality. It's a human being mentality. Human behavioral problem. Okay, because and a lot of times when you adjust the seat height too high, it becomes even more unstable. You need to tilt further down to put your leg down. You know what I mean? Because if you adjust the seat height so high, you basically, if you need to come to a sudden stop and put your leg on the ground, is big problem for you. You will not be able to do so safely without compromising on your own safety, on time. Without you won't be able to put your feet on the ground on time lah. When it comes to emergency cases where you need to suddenly brake, and then that becomes a big problem for you. You will just keep on going forward, and then you get into a car accident, possibly. Right, so that's why I already say already, these two things is the thing that's causing cyclists to commit this issue. Again, it's not a cyclist issue, it's a human being problem and physics. Okay, so that's all I want to say, and yeah, that's pretty much about it. And last thing I want to say is that I'm very into safety. Okay, I am not for cyclists, I'm not for pedestrians, I'm not for drivers, motorists, riders, micro-mobility user. I am for safety. How I see it is basically this: you take away the car, take away the bike, take away the bicycle, take away the micro-mobility devices, the van, the truck, the bus, all the heavy vehicles. Who is propelling the road? Human beings. Who is on the road? Human beings. All of us are one, sharing the road together. So it's really about human beings. It's not about the bicycle. It's not about the cyclist. It's not about the driver. It's all of us. We are one human, one people sharing the road, which is a shared public space. So therefore, please exercise sheer responsibility, safety and care and due consideration for other road users in order to make commuting a safe and enjoyable commuting experience for everyone. Not just for yourself, but everyone else. We are all in this together. We all have a pivotal role to play. I hope you all can see this from where I'm coming from. We all have a pivotal role to play in the grand scheme of all things, to make the roads a safer place for everyone. So it's not a cyclist issue. It's not a driver issue, it's not a rider issue, it's not this issue, not that issue, but it's a human being problem. And all of us can play a part in keeping the road safe. And that's what I mean by I'm pro-safety. I'm not for anyone. I'm not siding anyone in particular. I am for safety. I'm pro-safety. I side for safety. I just want to make sure that the roads are a safer place for everyone. Tantamount to zero accident. Tantamount to zero accident. No accident on the roads. Tantamount to road safety. That's what I am. I'm about pro-safety. That's my role as a traffic warden. And so that's what I want to share with you guys in this video. I think I've spoken quite a fair bit. I don't want to go anymore because this video will be too long already to end off. It's about half an hour already. So in my next video, I hope to address pedestrians, especially jaywalkers. And in another video, separate video, I also want to talk about cycling double file or two abreast, on what kind of situation you can do and what kind of situation is best not to do, especially when you encounter roadworks. Roadworks whereby one or more, whereby there'll be lane closures and stuff like that. So it's the rules might change a little bit already. It's not like what you think. Still got 2 lane or more, we will still cycle double file. Sometimes you have to see the situation. Okay, but I'll explain more in that video. So stay tuned with me, and I'll see you in the next videos. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your time. Hope you've been blessed by the message. Thank you.